Well, welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Dan O'Brien. I'm a senior partner here at Action Coach in Central Texas. And today I'm joined by Ricardo Flores, who is the owner of Corporate Caterers of Austin. Very excited to be sitting down with you today, Ricardo. Thank you so much for taking the time and allowing us to kind of jump into some conversation, have a little bit of fun here this afternoon. But as we kick off, I'm going to hand it over to you. Why don't you share just a little bit about your background on a high level and tell us a little bit about the business?
Well, thank you very much, Tanner, for inviting me on this platform. My name is Ricardo Flores. I've been an Austinite for about 8 years, born and raised in San Antonio. And so my wife and I kind of moved up here and opened up Corporate Caterers up here as a business. I've been really in the food business for probably 30 plus years. So it's kind of in my blood, kind of like ketchup in the blood, so to speak. And I feel like we're doing great things, not only for our regular customers, but also people that don't really know us that much. That we get to know and get to meet and set a good example, and hopefully they become regular customers of ours.
Beautiful. I love it. So walk me through a little bit about, who is your typical customer, for the services that you provide through catering. What's kind of the traditional that it looks like if somebody's, in the market for catering services and they hear this wonderful interview and want to reach out to you afterwards. Kind of give us a picture of kind of who it is that you typically work with and, what is a traditional agreement with a customer look like?
Sure, no problem. So corporate caterers is just, I mean, it's implied in the title. We typically cater to business type atmospheres. Breakfast, lunch, board meetings, training sessions, a plethora of different things. Our clients include doctors and lawyers, tech companies, construction companies, anybody that would be having an event, an appreciation, a training, anything like that, a birthday. That's kind of our niche. It's what we do. We're typically a Monday through Friday operation, so not very much business on the weekends, although our regular clients do have some stuff on the weekends we do. But typically, like going to homes and stuff like that, we don't necessarily do that. But if the occasion's there and it's a regular customer, certainly we'll be happy to accommodate them.
Beautiful. I love it. And I appreciate the clarity that makes it, easier for those that are in the audience that are watching to identify and say, hey, I definitely need to reach out to Ricardo and learn a little bit more. So let's take a step back. I want to talk a little bit about your background. So 30 plus years in the food industry. Walk me through what that 30 years looked like preceding Corporate Caterers.
Sure. Um, it started back when I graduated from high school. I'll tell you how long ago that was, but I was trying to floundering around between jobs. I actually worked at a grocery store, and before I started working in quick service, there's not a lot of jobs back in the '80s that you could get as a young person. And I just felt like it was my calling because I really enjoyed the customer service aspect of it and being able to make people happy through food, which I think is the one common bond that we all have to eat. So if you're going to eat, you might as well be happy doing it, and it's a great pleasure to see people enjoy our product and also comment on our product. So it really kind of is a driving force to make me want to continue to do this. And so I've been doing it for 30 some years, not all at the same place, but I've only worked at 4 different food establishments. But I felt like through the years that the places that I've worked, they've actually taught me a lot. I have a business degree, but I don't have a lot of other experience other than that. And so I was able to be mentored by a lot of people that knew a lot about the business and taught me along the way. And that's where I ended up now here in Austin. And it's been a great ride. Look forward to more.
Beautiful. And if I heard you correctly earlier, you said about 8 years is how long you've been in business?
Been in business here for 8 years, yes.
Beautiful. So I always like to ask the question that transition from working for others to I'm going to start my own thing and we're going to start building that. Take me through kind of what that experience was like. Was there some fear? Was there some excitement? Was there a little bit of both? Like what was that like for you?
I think I think that I surrounded myself with good people. Uh, early on, and those people always would encourage me to want to go ahead and branch out on my own. Of course, you're going to have naysayers. You'll never make it. You won't do it, and there is a level of anxiety when you put your own money forward, right? I just really felt like I was mentored by good people that gave me a lot of great information, and that helped me along the way, even in this journey, that I can call back on and say, "Hey, what do you do in this situation, or how did you handle this situation?" So it's been a really a good transition, I guess, going from working for someone else versus working for yourself.
Beautiful. And I would have to imagine there's been some lessons learned along the way. So I love to ask kind of the question on like challenges, roadblocks, hurdles that you've had to overcome along the way. I'm sure there have been many, some large, some small, but is there any, what's like one memorable, we'll say memorable, it doesn't have to be defining or anything else like that, but what's a memorable challenge or hurdle that you recall coming up against in your journey of being a business owner that you've had to overcome that's allowed you to get to where you are today?
So there's been many hurdles to jump. Um, like I said earlier, fortunately, I had other people that I can lean back on and ask questions of. But the most challenging hurdle, obviously, was COVID. COVID
Mhm.
decimated this industry that we're in, and of course, not just my industry, but pretty much every industry was pretty much decimated. Everything from supply line issues to not having any business to not having employees. It just was an amazing challenge that my wife and I had to work through in order to get some of this back again.
Mm. I can imagine that time being very difficult for your industry specifically. Um, Take us through that a little bit. What obviously you made it through. You're here still today. What were some of the things that you had to do during that time to ensure that your business would continue to thrive beyond it?
So first and foremost, I leaned on my faith. I truly believe that there's a higher being, and I had to lean on that a lot, and I had to ask, do a lot of prayer and asking um, and keeping in contact with some of my regular customers to let them know, hey, we're going to be gone for a little bit. But as you can imagine, we had to lay off a lot of people. It was pretty much just myself as an employee, through that. So any orders that we did have was I was the chief cook and bottle washer. I did it, from prep um, to delivery, and it was challenging because supply line issues. Everything had to be individually packaged. It was just things that we don't normally do, that we had to train ourselves to do in order to accommodate that customer. But what I did learn from it is that when we jump through those challenges, other people see that, and it gave me a lot of faith in humanity that I wasn't the only one going through this, and they understood and they worked with me, and I'm very grateful. We did some, I know I told you earlier that we didn't really do a lot of home stuff, but there was a lot of people working from home. So guess what? We did a lot of home stuff. You just do what you have to do in order to survive.
I love that. There's a lot of power, and I think that the understanding that there was a lot of people that went through a lot of hurt during that time, business wise, and being able to understand the types of challenges that each business faced, and for you to share a couple here today, I think will resonate with many out there. Um, things were there's always going to be dips and challenges within business if you're in it long enough, and being able to learn from those experiences of the past. There's nothing greater than that. So I appreciate that. Um, Business wise, so in business for yourself, if I recall, you had mentioned that you had a business degree, things like that. Outside of the industry that you're in, but looking at your business as a business itself, how have you grown as a business owner and leader, or what's kind of the biggest thing that you've learned in business specifically over the last 8+ years?
The biggest thing I would say that I've learned is that it's although I love the satisfaction, I get a great deal of satisfaction by looking at and hearing people's comments about the quality, about the product that we serve. But the biggest thing I learned is that we're all human beings and we all need each other. And it gave me a lot of sympathy and empathy for others and the things that they're going through, because I go through the same things. And a lot of times you lose focus of that. You're chasing a dream and you're chasing a profit line, and you tend to sometimes forget about the people that are behind the orders. It could be the secretary, it could be the CEO like myself, it could be anybody behind the scenes, but they all have the same feelings and stuff. And I like to talk to people personally. My wife's always saying, send an email, but I really like to pick up the phone and just talk to people. I think it's much more personable. And I think that they probably respect me, and I certainly respect them a lot more
Hmm.
for it.
There's a oh, I can't remember where I recall seeing this, but it has to do with the retention of customers and things like that, and it's some like crazy high statistic of, I don't know, 70-80%. I'm not going to remember exactly what the statistic is, but the vast majority of the reason that people leave a business is perceived lack of like caring. They perceive that the business that they're doing business with doesn't care. So I would 100% agree that human to human interaction and being willing to pick up the phone and say hi and all of that kind of stuff has a profound impact on the fact that we are human beings at the end of the day. So very cool stuff there. Um, let's talk about success.
Interrupt you, but making a personal connection, you find out, hey, my husband has cancer, my
Mm,
son is sick and in the hospital. Those are great moments to be able to bond with the person, form a relationship that can be lasting for a very long time. And then, of course, every time you talk to them again, you can bring up something other than the business at hand, which is, hey, what's your order? What would you like today, or whatever. So I just think it's more personal. It's more personal to be able to know someone that way, and I think they build trust in you, and um, it goes a long way, because retaining a customer is a lot easier than finding a new one.
yes. Oh man, a business truth that I hope that if there's a business owner that's watching this and listening to it today, if there's a nugget you take, make sure you take that one. Retaining customers is much easier and more cost effective than having to go out and essentially purchase new ones. So that human connection is very powerful. So I'd love to just kind of transition a little bit and talk a little bit about success by most objective measures. And I'm going to use my own objective measures today, which is the definition that of success, or what I would deem successful. And you fit the bill of what success is. You've been in business for 8+ years. You've navigated something like COVID, made it through to the other side, continuing to grow. Some really cool stuff there. By all means, that is successful. So, with that kind of stage set, I'd love to ask, what do you attribute your success to? I kind of call this your keys to success, but when you look back along your journey and say, I have done these things, and because of this, I am successful. When you reflect upon that, what would you say you attribute your success to?
I attribute my success to my failures, and I have way more failures than I have successes. And it's through that process that has allowed me to grow. And not, I mean, we're all in the. I always tell people that this isn't practice. I don't do this for free. But in essence, it is practice. It's practice to make sure that I get the next one right, and the next one right, and the next one right. And so it's very, I guess I'm pretty humbled by my experiences that I've gone through. Um, I learned a lot about people. When I first started this journey, I thought, man, I am going to be able to make a ton of money, provide for my family, et cetera, et cetera. And what I realized was it really wasn't that has made me successful. It was being able to take care of other people by providing them with a job, by having a good place for them to work, a good environment, making sure that they have the hours that they need so they can support their family, treating them like they're a family member, not just an employee. Those relationships that have been formed has just been amazing. And because of that, I have many 5+ year employees that are still with me. And this industry is kind of unheard of because turnover is pretty high.
Mm.
So even after COVID, I was able to bring some of them back. And so that's really my driving force to success now. And I think that the profit line and all that is just icing on the cake. It's, hey, I need to be off today because my son is sick or whatever. That's no problem. We can handle it today. Take the day off and we'll give it to you with pay. Go ahead and take care of your son. Those things go such a long way, and it's so gratifying that I have the opportunity to give back to people.
I love that. That is, yeah, I always end these on the question of what's most inspiring. We'll get to that here in a moment, but I think what you just said is something that definitely inspires me. Being able to take care of those that are under your care, team members, things like that. There's a lot of power in that. So I totally resonate with what you just shared.
You tend to have a better employee when you start doing that. They might not start off as a great employee in your eyes, but maybe you don't know everything they're going through. But once they get to know you and then they see that kind of stuff, they respect you more and they're able to give you. They want to help.
Mm,
It's like I want to help them. They want to help me as well.
absolutely. Well, Ricardo, I want to be respectful of time, and before we wrap out, kind of with that final, question for the audience here, how can the folks that are watching this, that are listening to this down the road, how can they find out more information about corporate caterers? How can they find out more information about you? If most of our audience, I would imagine, are business owners in that kind of corporate world, and in many instances might be looking up for a service like yours. Where can we go to find more information? How can we can make connections with you? Kind of give us the details there.
Sure. So we're located in Austin, and I want to say our delivery area is very wide. We go all the way west to Marble Falls and east to Bastrop. We go as far north as Georgetown and as far south as San Marcos. We have a very large delivery area. Our website is www.corpcaterers.com. And you just click on the Austin link and you will find us. We'll also be opening up another business in San Antonio, Corporate Caterers down there. So we'll be able to go as far south as Junction eventually. If you live down in that area, anybody that has a meeting or some kind of training session and you need a good quality food, that's what we're here for. We specialize in breakfast and lunch. We actually come in, set up for you, and then we'll come back after the event and we'll clean everything up and box up everything that's left over so you guys can take it home with you. And we'll be out of your way. You can continue to conduct your meeting. You don't have to stop and set stuff up. You don't have to have an assistant do anything. Just make a phone call or go online and place an order. We're here to help you. We look forward to hearing from you.
Beautiful. Appreciate that. And I'm going to encourage everyone that's watching this to take a moment, pause the video, click the little link in the description below, go check out the website, get all the information there, and give him a shot. Have a conversation with Ricardo, reach out to him, reach out to his team, and see if there might be a good fit for some catering services. So to wrap this thing out, Ricardo, what is most inspiring to you today?
There's faith in humanity. Even through all of this turmoil that we've been through the last couple of years, people genuinely still have things to do, places to go, and they're continuing on. As we haven't given up. That to me is so inspiring because it's very easy to get dejected through some of these times. Losing your job can be difficult. Getting sick, things like that can be difficult, and so people still want to do good by others, and it's very inspiring to me. I look forward to being able to continue to do that.
Beautiful. Ricardo, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me and with the audience here today and sharing your story. This has truly been a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.